Hi, welcome back to another Mental Health Monday video here on my channel. This is something I want to start doing every single Monday, so buckle up. We're going to be doing this every Monday. New series. Well, not new series, just brought it back. So I did a poll over on my Instagram and I asked you guys what you wanted to see on my Mental Health Mondays. So here in my trusty little notebook that I got from Target the other day, if you saw my vlog, I wrote down the top ones, and the most popular one, I'd say 90% of the requests from you guys wanted me to talk about anxiety today. So that's what we're gonna talk about. So before we start the video, I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a psychologist, any of that. So take that for what it's worth. I can share my personal experience and I can share with you guys what has helped me over the years deal with anxiety. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about my personal experience with anxiety and then kind of what has worked for me. And then now that we have comments, please comment down below and let us know what has helped you guys with your anxiety. So I grew up being a very happy-go-lucky person. I feel like things never really affected me. I was very positive and all of that. I never really started experiencing major anxiety until 2014, so when I had turned 30. There was a bunch of things going on in my life. I was even vlogging a ton back then, and I obviously didn't show it all. I was pregnant with Molly, we were remodeling a home, there's just all this other personal stuff happening in my life at the time, and I started getting anxiety attacks, and these were things that I never recognized before. And if you've never had an anxiety attack, they come differently for everybody, but for me, it's like my heart is racing, I can't breathe. I'm just so overwhelmed with all these negative, heavy feelings where I feel like I'm drowning. So that was when I very first started therapy. If you guys remember, I never got on medication back then or anything like that. Also, side note, a lot of people are asking about medication and how I'm doing with that. I'm not on it anymore. I was only on it for about a year after the twins. So I haven't been on it for about 3 years. So just had to throw that in there. So I started going to this therapist once a week, and she was so great. I could bring my boys with me, and she would have like her secretary, front desk person babysit the boys while I had a session with her. And she helped me so much back then deal with my anxiety, but we were dealing with a lot of things that had happened to me in my life that had led me to feel certain ways in certain situations. So I'm kind of being broad here because I don't want to, get into personal stuff, specifics, I guess. One of the things I realized is how much control I have over my anxiety. Yes, things are going to happen in my life that I cannot control, and I am somebody who likes to control things. I have a very type A personality in a lot of ways where I like to be organized, I like to be on top of things, and as you guys know, once the twins came, that's why it was so difficult because I could not control anything in my life with all 5 kids, right? So she would give me tools, and I have learned a lot of tools since then as well. But the biggest realization for me was how much control I personally had over my thoughts. And I can entertain those thoughts. And when you have anxiety, things just creep in, correct? And it just keeps building and building and building and building, where you're literally like out of control when it comes to your thoughts. And for me, some things that really help are writing it all down. I feel like once I get all of my thoughts out, and most of the times when I get anxiety, it's because I'm always thinking like worst case scenario, correct? I'm always kind of like looking for the worst, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We are all humans. This is how our brain works sometimes. But once I would sit down and write it out, sometimes that would just calm me down, because when you write it out, you realize kind of how negative you're thinking. Another thing that helps is talking to somebody that you can trust. So for me, thankfully, Brad is always there for me. My sisters, my parents, my friends, my therapist. I go to certain people when I'm having these like anxious moments. And do I still get anxiety to this day? Of course. It's a part of me, you guys. So these are ways that I feel help. Another thing I realize is after talking to someone, after writing it out, I really try to give the situation the benefit of the doubt. Things 99.9% of the time aren't as bad as you think. And one of the things that my therapist taught me way back then, 7 years ago, was, okay, well then, what if that's the case then? What if this person just really doesn't like you? Let's say that's the case. Then what? Does that determine your worth? Does that determine how good of a mom you are? How good of a person? No, it doesn't. And so I always try to check myself, and thankfully I feel like over the years I've gotten better and better at like controlling those anxious thoughts. I haven't had an anxiety attack in years, thankfully, but it's really getting through those emotions and thinking through them. Sometimes you have to process them. It's okay to process process these feelings instead of just being like, oh, I have to be positive or something. It's really important to feel those feelings. And sometimes it can take a couple days. And my therapist taught me that too. Just take a day and just feel it. Just let it hit you, you know, work through those emotions, and then you can move on the next day. But the biggest thing that I realized is how much control I have over my anxiety. So that's kind of like my anxiety deal for today, for Mental Health Monday. So realize in any given situation, you have more power than you realize. And things aren't always going to go our way. Most of the time they don't. But you can always control your thoughts, and you can always control your actions in those situations. So that's my Mental Health Monday thought. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to film another quick one right here for next week. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know down below what has helped you with your anxiety, and we will talk to you later. Bye!